Hello, everyone. We're now live on Facebook, and hopefully that will be recorded correctly. Once in a while, I have trouble. I'm not afraid to admit it. And we're going to be talking today about prostate problems. And so I hope this is some information that you can share with others, pass along, learn for yourself, whatever you need, whatever kind of information you need to take away. I did go ahead and mute everybody today. But I am going to unmute you for the first 4 or 5 minutes or whatever. If anybody would like to give a testimony of any kind, we'll take a few minutes and do that. So I'll see if I can get you unmuted, and just unmute if you have I will let you unmute if you have some kind of a testimony to start with. But last time it was a little hard for some people to hear. So if you do have a testimony, just unmute yourself and go ahead.
All right. So my name.
I'm not sure I can hear you. Can you unmute one more time?
Here we go.
Can you now? Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So a few nights ago, I was packing up. I was packing all night long, so I was on my hands and knees, and woke up in the morning, and my knee was hurting really badly. So I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I had my watch on, put it on knee pain, and within 15 minutes, it was like my knee was gone. It was like almost taking like an Advil. It was like totally gone." So it blew my mind. I'm like, wow, okay, this thing really, really works. So I'm really excited to learn more about it so I can really utilize it So
Perfect.
it was, yeah, it was worth it because I hate taking Advils.
Oh my goodness. There's so much going on with all of those over-the-counter meds now, isn't there? They're finally admitting things that are going on. Okay, so we have a few more people coming in, but I have given you permission to unmute if anybody has a testimony they'd like to share. And then when we're done with some testimonies, I'll go ahead and mute you because we did have some trouble last time, and we had quite a few interruptions and people couldn't hear or see or whatever. So I will mute you once we get done. But anybody have anything they'd like to add? Okay, Sandy, just unmute yourself. Down at the lower, got to unmute. Sandy, I can't hear you. I don't know if I can find you. There you are. Okay. There you are. Can anybody hear Sandy?
No.
We still can't hear you. You are unmuted. There. Okay, Sandy.
Yeah, now? No. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Did you have a testimony?
I have a question. Where do I find out more information about the value of what the watch does?
That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'll show you in just a minute. How's that?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. No, not really. Not very good.
Okay. Well, I just need to know where I can go to ask more questions because I'll be with the meeting, but I need to ask a lot of questions.
Okay. Anybody else like to share a testimony before we get started talking about prostate health today?
I'd love to encourage people, Linda, to remember the basics. My mom has had a watch for quite some time, basically since the beginning, and uses it for what she uses it for, like has her daily standard stuff. And she'd had a headache almost a full day. By the time I called her in the evening, she's like, "Oh yeah, I've just had this headache." And I'm like, "Hey mom, headache combo works amazingly." She put it on and the headache went away.
Oh,
Remember your basics.
perfect. Great idea. Okay. Anybody else like to add comments? And Vienna, if I could impose upon you today, could you kind of monitor any questions? And sometimes I miss those, and let me know. You've done that before. Just love it
Sure.
when you can help me.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
I don't know if it-
And Martha or Marcia raised a hand too, just
All
to
right, go
share.
ahead. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself. Is it Martha or Marcia?
Are you talking about me?
I don't know. Somebody, there you go. Raise your hand.
Well, I raised
Martha.
my hand earlier. I had this morning had some spasms in my back when I got up out of bed. So I put it on the muscle spasm thing, and before I knew it, it was gone.
Love it. Thank
Do
you.
these-
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do these frequencies just block the sensation to the brain, or does it actually stop the root cause?
Well, there's a couple of different ideas. The Niels Bohr School of Physics in Denmark is trying to get accepted several of their studies that they think prove that our nerves are more acoustical frequencies and sound, that they are not electrical, which we have been taught for years. So they're saying it will probably take 50 years for that idea to catch on. Although they have proven, in their opinion, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that our nerves are frequencies, sound frequencies.
So does that mean that the frequencies are dealing with the root cause as opposed to just blocking?
I would say so from that idea, that those frequencies have gotten out of balance, and that we are trying to rebalance them with the correct frequency.
Okay, and on your chart of all the different conditions, sometimes there's a 1 and a 2, like I think there's fat loss 1 and 2. Does a person use 1 before 2, or can we jump to 2? Is that more beneficial?
It doesn't matter. They're just a different set of frequencies. Again, kind of like listening to a different Elvis song. Sometimes your body likes one, sometimes you like to hear the other one, So just a different combination of frequencies to cover the same idea.
Thank you.
And someone said, what institute has done a study? And that was the Niels Bohr School of Physics in Denmark. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start now. I'm going to share my screen and I'll give a presentation. I will mute everybody today. And then, towards the end, and then Vienna will be monitoring some questions and help me out with that. So thanks for coming on so much today. All right, I'm hoping that everybody can hear me today. There we go. So someone was asking where they could learn more information about the WAVwatch. Most people today seem to like videos. To me, they're a little bit long because I'm making them, but you can go to Facebook, WAVwatch Frequency Fanatics. It is being recorded live now, and I have 65 different topics. And the number has increased since in over 65 different topics. So you can search for a topic and then listen to that particular topic. You can also go to Rumble and search for WAVwatch, and there's lots of videos there. There's endless amounts of videos. I think they said there were 120 different videos on YouTube. So you're just searching for WAVwatch. You can also go to the website and you've got to read, and then you have a 20-page booklet. So you want to do some reading. I tried to give you different ways that you could learn different things. And some people just like to press buttons. So one other idea to learn this seriously is just to ask for help from your teenager grandson or granddaughter, or, or even I have a 10-year-old granddaughter that was able to manipulate it without even reading the book, So sometimes those younger ones who have been, who have grown up using using different technology can help you very, very easily. So someone was asking about that. I hope that covers the questions. Many, many different ways to use the WAVwatch and to learn about how to use it. And so at this point in time, the newer watches have 1,000 frequency sets for self-care. And don't forget that you're in charge of your body, mind, and spirit. We need to be learning more about ourselves all the time and how we're intricately connected in every area of our body. And I don't mean to sound, again, like a broken record, but I think that's a problem that we are having in our healthcare, self-care, system today, is that we go to, I'm seeing a window here. Okay, so we are seeing more and more that people are not learning as much about their bodies as they could be. They are just wanting to take one pill, and we've got steered away from actually using self-care ideas and learning about ourselves. So please try to learn and apply ideas as you can. I think I kind of missed a concept that I was talking about there. I may come back to it later, but we have been steered away from taking better care of ourselves because we have compartmentalized medicine. We go from one doctor for this problem, we go to a kidney specialist, we go to a prostate specialist, we go to a breast specialist, instead of learning about our bodies as a whole. And so we do not realize how connected our body is and some of the things that we could be doing. So that's the whole idea of the WAVwatch, is to let you know that there are many suggestions on the WAVwatch that could help with a particular problem. Now, I have talked about this a lot, and I just want to keep carrying over and over. This is the long version of what I tell people all the time. And this is a quote from Dr. Bruce Lipton, and you can read it yourself. But basically, this physicist is saying that frequencies carry 100% of the information at faster than the speed of sound. He's saying 186,000 miles per second, where when we have a chemical reaction from a prescription, sometimes even supplements, things like that, over-the-counter meds, whatever you want to say, these waves, these are chemical reactions that go through our body very, very slowly, only about a foot a second. And so it is so slow that our body burns up 98% of what we've taken. So doesn't that make sense that that's why we have to take something over and over again? And it might take, 6 weeks to 2 months, or it might take a week. I don't know, but it takes a little bit different length of time for some of those chemical reactions to be taken in by our body, because they are actually burned up. So this is the actual quote from that. And I've simplified it several different slides, but wanted to show you where this was from. So that's what the WAVwatch is doing, So we literally have hundreds of sound frequencies. We're up now. I need to change that to 1,000 sound frequencies. And then within each one of those frequency sets could be up to 30 different frequencies. So I think I calculated at one time, I probably have more than 24,000 frequencies on this little watch. It will make those sounds using the TF card. We have no cords or messy wires or patches. There's no internet. There's no monthly fee. I think it's cost effective because of so many of the things that it can do. And it's all inclusive. So even hard of hearing people can use it. And that's very important to me since I'm hard of hearing. So today we want to talk about prostate, and these are just the frequencies that I have on there. If you look up specifically prostate, of course, you're going to go to men's, you're going to go down alphabetically, you'll find prostate, and you'll see these 5 different frequency sets. Again, that could have up to 30 different frequencies inside each set. So we're going to talk about these just a little bit today and then go beyond. And what else do we need to be doing? What else could we do? Are there some other ideas? Because this is a big problem. And, I don't need to see a show of hands. Sometimes I kind of ask that or say that because I'm a former teacher, but so many men are going to have prostate problems. And these are the statistics. Problems increase with age. So between the ages of 51 and 60, at least 50% of men will have some signs of benign prostate hyperplasia. And as we age, up to 90% of men over 80 will have problems with prostate. So about 1/3 of these will have symptoms that require treatment. So we're talking about a huge part of our population having trouble with prostate problems. So it's a huge concern, whether you are trying to learn today and help somebody else out, or whether you're having trouble yourself, or, no matter what the situation is, it's going to affect a lot of us in our society today. So what I thought was really interesting, that I don't know a lot. I'm not a specialist in prostate. I just have these frequencies on the WAVwatch, but there are 4 types of problems specifically with prostatitis. They kind of have it lumped together, and there's just one frequency for that, as you saw earlier. But there are 4 kinds of problems. So one is an acute problem, and usually caused by UTI infection. And if you have fevers and chills and urination problems, you should go get medical treatment. It says immediate medical treatment. If you're, again, the fever and the chills kind of gives it away. But you could have chronic bacterial prostatitis, and that can be from bacterial infection that's trapped in the prostate gland. You could also be having chronic pelvic pain, which is evidently the most common type. And you can see I'm having to read this because this isn't my area, but I hope that just being able to see it gives you the ability to remember it better also. And so this type of problem is going to cause a lot of back pain and pelvis, perineum, and genital pain even. So that's the 3rd type that you're going to feel. Now, then you can also have an asymptomatic inflammatory prostate problem, and you might not even know there's anything. And you might go to a doctor for something like fertility, and they're telling you that you have a chronic inflammation, bacterial inflammation usually. So very important to know that we can even someone could have a prostate problem and actually not even know that. So very important for us to realize that we do need to go get things checked out once in a while. If we're having problems, it's obviously much more important, and we take care of it. So again, this type of the BPH, the benign prostatic hyperplasia, affects virtually all men over 50. So you can see why, when we have such a society today with so much bacteria going on and so many things going on in our system. So this image that I captured from Harvard Health, shows us that the urethra and the urine and the bladder and all of these problems are all connected with prostate. It's just not by itself. So what we're having is more and more problems related to specific areas. So I had to look in quite a few sites to kind of get this bigger list, but people with prostate problems are going to have urinary frequency problems. They might be going more than 8 to 10 times a day. They may have a huge urgency or an inability to delay urination. They may have difficulty even starting the stream. It could be weak. It could be dribbling. It could be bothering you at night when you're sleeping, it's really all about the bladder because the prostate is putting so much pressure on it. So the urinary tract and all these kind of things are very, very problematic. So lots of pain when urinating, pain after ejaculation, unusual colored urine, and unusual smelling urine. So usually, if you're having urination problems of any kind, like any of these ideas, we're talking about prostate. So it's very common again. And I'm sure lots of guys have talked about it, So this is another area that we should be playing on our watch. Besides the prostate, we should go to the organs folder and play all the bladder and urinary ideas and play every single one of them. Because again, these are different frequencies that could be helpful for bacteria. You saw earlier how much bacteria infection was associated with it. So we're talking about urinary tract infections, urologic diseases, urethral stricture, incontinence. This is a really good folder to know to combine. But this is a folder that women need too, So it's in the organs system, and you would go there and play it. It's not just listed in men's by itself. But this is hugely important to make sure that you cover the bladder and urinary one. Huge. And you ought to be playing this a lot, not just a little bit, but if men would tend to need it sometimes a little bit more than women. We don't have quite as many problems because of the prostate, pressing so much on the urethra. So I was kind of talking to my husband before we started, and I said, "Don't you have a testimony on this?" And he goes, "Well," and so I'm kind of teasing him a little bit. I don't even know if he'll hear. But he's basically saying we need to be proactive. He said, so many men have problems with this. I just think we need to play these all the time so that we are, watching and guarding our health just a little bit better. So that's a little bit of an oral testimony from Carl with a K. So guys, play these frequencies. Now, these are some other ideas that you could do, and you could be playing, or you could be purchasing supplements. You might have them on hand. But a lot of times if you travel and you have a urinary bladder type infection or something comes up, you're not around someplace, that has all of these supplements or maybe has any of these selections. But saw palmetto has been touted as one of the main ones for men's prostate health for years. And, there's all of these other ideas. They have combination herbals. So, guys, I'm just kind of saying you ought to have something in stock, So if you've got the WAVwatch, you do. But there's nothing wrong with having a second or even a third idea so that you definitely have something double and triple to protect yourself. Because who wants to be going, running, to the corner CVS or other ideas and getting some over-the-counter medication all the time when you are surprised because you have an infection all of a sudden. And then these are some essential oils that could be used very good with prostate problems. So all of these basically are saying, use them with a carrier oil of some kind like coconut or olive oil, and then rub them on in that particular area of the prostate where you're having trouble. So lots of oils: rosemary, frankincense, myrrh, ginger, peppermint, lavender, oregano, and thyme. And I'm sure there's probably a combination. You could even look for a recipe if you like to mix your own if you like to mix your own essential oils. And the reason I love supplements and essential oils is because they have such good frequencies. The frequencies from these have been measured. And all of these essential oils have high frequencies. Obviously, they're not acoustical. They're ultrasonic type frequencies in the high range. But there's no reason why you shouldn't have some of these on hand because they cover a lot of different ideas. So if you don't have some of those on hand and you go for medication, These are some things that they are going to be suggesting for you as best I could tell. And so this is from Harvard Health, and I can't even pronounce the names of these, but these are in they're alpha blockers or alpha reductase inhibitors. And there's 4 or 5 of them. Now, I didn't have time to look up all the side effects. Do you know the side effects of these medications? But that's what you need to do if you decide to take some of these, and be very, very clear about asking for side effects of these medications or looking them up on your own. Now, the ideas that I gave you earlier, the WAVwatch, the supplements, and the essential oils are not going to have side effects, So you are making your own choice and going to your own doctor or, health professional, whoever that may be, and making some choices for your prostate. Got a few more ideas to share with you also. So this is the one that kind of blew me away. I didn't know about all these different kinds of surgeries that they are doing for prostate. So I don't even know if I can pronounce some of these again. So there's a TUMT, and it basically, all of these ideas are about heat. So this top one is microwave energy, delivers temperatures above 113 degrees Fahrenheit to the prostate by way of an antenna positioned in the prostate. That's a simplified version, but that's one idea. Another one uses, this is an interstitial laser coagulation, uses a specially designed laser fiber to deliver heat. Again, heat. Now, it doesn't say how much. I didn't get a temperature read on that one, but we know it's high heat, okay? And then another one that's called TUNA, T-U-N-A, a needle ablation. This one uses low-level radio frequency energy that's delivered through 2 small needles to burn away an area of the enlarged prostate. Or maybe you'd like to try the transurethral electrovaporization. How'd I do on pronouncing that one? This technique uses electrical energy applied through an electrode to rapidly heat the prostate tissue. Look at this one, turning the tissue cells into steam.
Battery 80%.
Okay. And then the last one, intraurethral stents. These are wire devices that are shaped like springs or coils, and they're placed inside the prostate. And this actually is not more a heat one. It's one that just keeps that pressure from the urethra and keeps that pressure from closing off and causing urination problems. So I thought those were kind of interesting. So now we can compare one more thing. I know I'm repeating, but that's a great teaching technique, So now we have different types of surgery. And remember, up to 90% of men are going to need these ideas in their life once in a while. So we have these surgeries, we have different medications, we have essential oils, we have natural herbal supplements, and we have frequencies like the WAVwatch. So you have more and more choices. And so if you're like most of the people on this call, you're going to be making some of the natural choices first and then going deeper as you need to. So that's your choice, but just know the difference in them. And again, I'm going to repeat, make sure that you find out what some of the side effects of these medications could be, and the side effects of the surgeries. So some of them are not really getting rid of the urination problems. That is a warning. They may cut down the swelling in the prostate, but that doesn't mean that those problems go away all the time. So that was kind of interesting to me. Now, what I really want to emphasize at this point in time is that we are not being taught about dental problems that can affect our prostate. So this comes from the National Center, NCBI, and NIH, and the National Institute of Health. And these were three excerpts that I took out of an article, and I did give you the information at the bottom. But I'm going to read these again because they are now saying dental and prostate cancer go hand in hand. So increased risk of prostate cancer from periodontal disease, significantly associated. How about the second one? This is way back in 2003. They evaluated data from 11,328 individuals, and they verified a correlation between prostate cancer and periodontal disease. And then the third quote that I found in this article, and just the top area, was that a chronic inflammatory response to a periodontal infection increases the risk of various malignancies. So this middle article was in 2003, and I'm not sure that very many men know about this. I know on the opposite extreme that I work with women's breast health, and there are 8 teeth, 2 up and 2 down, are first and second molars on each side. So we're talking about 8 different teeth are connected with women's breast health and actually breast cancer. And as I have worked with, 5,000 or 6,000 women, my statistics are that only about 99% of the women, I said it backwards, only about 1% of the women might know this statistic. 99% of them do not know that there is a dental correlation with breast problems. So I'm assuming it's the same way with men. Almost all men are going to have some kind of prostate problem in their life, but they do not realize that teeth are a huge connection with this. So I hope if you learn something, that this is a huge one, because it is the major connection. And I don't think we're being taught this idea when it would be so easy. So the incisors are the teeth that bother all the areas that we're talking about. So these are, of course, the front teeth, 4 up and 4 down. And these connect to the kidneys, the prostate, the bladder, the uterus, rectum, and anus. So the upper teeth also bother the pineal gland, and the lower teeth bother the adrenal glands. So there is a little bit of separation there. But this is huge for us to know. So if you know that you're having a toothache, or that you've had this tooth replaced or this tooth replaced, one of the incisors, then you could be setting yourself up for dental problems. Now, I don't have time to talk about everything today. I have a whole hour workshop on dental, so I'm just hitting a few of the highlights today, because this is the most important connection that we're missing. And you know what? I think I forgot to make a big slide that says play dental. I think that's going to be as obvious as can be, but play the dental. If you're having prostate problems, play dental, especially if you know that you've got some teeth in your front incisors are problematic, or if you've had a gum infection or anything like that is going on. Now, here's another way that you can learn about this, and I really hope that some of you already have this, or that you can pass this around. This might be a neat thing to put in a gift to somebody. But there is a tooth organ relationship chart. You can find these on the web pretty easily. You can order these. You can go into a natural health food store, and a lot of times they have these charts. But you'll see right here in the middle that tooth 7, 8, 9, and 10, these lateral incisors that I had on the last slide, will bother the bladder, the uterus, the rectum, the anus, the prostate, the kidneys. And the exact same organs are bothered by tooth 26, 25, 24, and 23. So it's a different way, a different chart, but gives you some ideas. When you have a toothache, when you have a dental problem, what tooth is it? What is the position? And then you'll know what it can bother. Now, don't forget that these teeth Some teeth are connected to heart attacks. So that would be your wisdom teeth, the back ones. The women's, like I already mentioned, there's 8 teeth connected to their breast health. The list goes on. And I don't have them all memorized. I kind of have to look them up, like here's one right here, so tooth 14 and 15, but also bother the thyroid, the spleen, and the stomach, and the esophagus, So these charts are really handy to have around because so many people are having dental problems and not realizing, again, that there is definitely a correlation with problems that can even range into malignancies of all kinds. Huge relationship. So towards the end, I think I'm going to ask if how many people knew this idea if you hadn't seen my information previously. Now, I don't have any pictures or images of thermography that I do for men's prostate, but I had a couple that I wanted to share with you. And so I do something that's called thermography, and I take images specifically for women's breast health that we can see heat patterns and patterns of coolness, heat or cold in the body. And basically, this person right here, it was actually a young man, I believe, had a dental infection. And you can see the hotter it is, there's more red, and then white is the hottest on this image. So the hottest area, we've got some heat right here. So this person had a toothache, and then you can see the infection going down their throat. And then this is the right side of the thyroid. So this particular tooth on the right side was draining down into the thyroid. And then it can go on down and go into the breast, go on down and go into the stomach. And so there's a whole list of areas that one tooth can bother. But here is a picture to show you in a little bit different manner. So don't forget, my whole option on sharing this with you is that I stated it right here. Pain in certain teeth can predict problems in specific organs. That should be common sense to us now. We should know this. We should have been taught this. So hopefully it's something that you can teach and share with other people. So on this young man, same picture, or maybe it's not, excuse me, this might be another picture, but we're seeing on the back side of this person, this is their T2 area. And so this is messing up their immune system. We don't want this area to be lit up with any color. It should just kind of fade in and be green all over. Instead, this area right here is very cold, letting us know that there is a problem with the T2, and any chiropractor is going to tell you that's relating to hormones and immune system and that kind of thing. Now, here's another picture, and this kind of just shows it, in a little different manner of when the person's head was tipped back, and we can just see this drainage going on down to the right side of the thyroid. Now, I do have a couple of pictures tucked somewhere, and I got an exact picture of someone's thyroid, kind of like a bow tie. It's bow tie shaped, and it's lit up on both sides, and they've got drainage on both sides. I just didn't find it for today. But let me tell you that dental can cause so many problems. Now, we've only talked about infections, basically. We think this is an infection. I guess I have one more slide. So here's another one. So this is a young man with an abscess tooth, and then he also had a lump in his chest. So this is the dental area right here. You could see the heat, the tooth up through here. You could see that it was bothering his thyroid down through here. And then the heat pattern went through here, and he had a lump down in this area. So we could see that drainage was definitely causing the lump in his chest. And I've seen this quite a bit. It's a very common problem. So again, we have dental infections that can go all over our body, and it's a huge, huge problem. So I wish I don't have any of prostate. This particular system doesn't show that, but it does show other areas. Now, this is what I was ready to go to. So we are assuming that this person has a dental infection, bacteria of some kind. But now this is magnified because of all of the materials that we have in our mouth from, the dentist. Okay. So here are pictures that they have captured of people who have dental infections, or they have infections of some kind. And it turns out to be from the materials that were put in their mouth. Now, these are very specific materials. So I'll have to read this again. But I actually had a lady come to my office who looked like this. And this is when I learned all this information. She really fit the information that we're going to tell you. He had a huge, inflammation, acne look right here on the side of her face. And she had been to probably 20 different medical doctors. And the average was that women who are more concerned sometimes about their dental health have had problems and gone to 25 medical doctors and have been told that it's all in their heads. And she fit that exact category. She was told she needed Prozac and that there was nothing wrong with her face, not to worry about it. But what the common denominator is that all those people had mercury amalgams removed. They thought they were doing the right thing. They took out their mercury amalgams, and then they had them replaced with nice white materials. And those materials were the toxic ones to them also. So those materials were causing that problem. I don't know if anybody's had any problems like that, but if you had these teeth replaced with white materials, all of those materials are going to be affecting your prostate. Or if you've had teeth back here replaced, and they could affect your breast or wherever. So you need to know what has been done to your different teeth and where those teeth could be polluting. So here's one more picture. Whoops, I don't know where it went to. I lost a picture here. I had one more picture showing, something just like this. And basically, it was letting us know that these materials had to be taken back out. So the white teeth, if you had white fillings put in and you were having some of these problems that usually do not show up within 7 years, they don't come really quick. It's a very slow draining and toxifying of your body. So people aren't connecting that, hey, 7 years ago, I had this, this tooth replaced with a, nice white coat, and they're not connecting that. So all of the dental societies just named a disease. And so they named it, and they did acknowledge that it is from some of the coatings and the sealants that they are putting on these particular ones. So they are acknowledging again, they are saying that these are causing problems, but they have not taken these materials out of their dental craftsmanship, or however you want to say it. They are still using those materials in your mouth that are causing problems like this. And I might be able to find that picture, but I don't know how many to jump around at. So what I'm just saying is that these amalgams have been replaced with white materials, whatever they are. And they say that every dentist has a different recipe, or the lab that they use. There are quite a few different combination of recipes. That's an easy way to say it, recipes to fill our mouths and to coat some of these teeth when we have problems. So the solution and the area where I got this information is right here if you're interested in that. It's huge. And again, the dentists are not taking those materials out of their repertoire that they work with. They are still using them. They only identified and said, yes, they do cause a disease. Now, let's go on to one more idea that we need to be covering. Prostate cancer is the second leading cause of death. And so they said in 2019, approximately 164,000 cases will be diagnosed and about 29,000 deaths will occur from this disease. Now, the WAVwatch is not made for cancer. I only have one folder that I created to work with, quote unquote, ideas that could be related to cancer. And it does have 2 or 3 ideas. I just say cancer 1, cancer 2, cancer 3. Literally, there are thousands of frequencies for cancer that you can find on large Rife machines. And if you were in this situation, go find a place that has a large Rife machine so that you can access some of these frequencies. But for protection now, the pathogen folder has certain pathogens, a variety of them, that can be proved that are connected with cancer. So specifically for men, they are saying that the Epstein-Barr virus and cytomegalovirus, I think I spelled that one wrong there, sorry about that. The cytomegalovirus are very common connections. And guess what? They're common connections in women's breast cancer also. So I also have certain parasites in this folder. And again, I have 1 hour of in-depth information about this pathogen folder. So go find that folder if you can, if you're interested, at WAVwatch Frequency Fanatics, and that's on Facebook. You'll also be able to find some of those on YouTube or WAVwatch for the Rumble channel. But just the best area is the Facebook WAVwatch Frequency Fanatics. And if you're not on Facebook, see if somebody can help, find that for you and just send it to you if that's possible. Remember, I'm not saying that the WAVwatch is made for cancer. I'm just saying that it does have in an MOR. That's a big abbreviation here, but it's the mortal oscillation rate that they have measured for many viruses and parasites, bacteria, and yeast and mold. So this phrasing comes from Tesla, the mortal oscillation rate. So it has frequencies that vibrate in a certain rate, and which is supposed to be the exact frequency of the parasite or the virus, whatever we're talking about. And when 2 things meet that have the same vibrational frequency, those frequencies meet and they self-amplify and break each other up. So that is the whole idea of the mortal oscillation rate. So that folder would be very good to play for everybody at any time, if that makes sense. So kind of close it up a little bit more. You can play all of the germ folder. So if you open up this folder on germs, you'll see bacteria, you'll see candida, Lyme, parasites, spike proteins, and it goes down a few more into viruses. So play all of these if you're having trouble with any kind of a prostate, UTI, any types of infections, and you have to open each one of these up, for a little bit. Now, at the bottom of this, I have some different frequencies that sometimes people don't see. So there is a frequency for antiseptic general 1, and antiseptic general 2, infection, and sepsis. And this is what happens so often is that UTIs and prostate problems can go into the sepsis stage. So there's no reason why you can't play those also. And you may want to put those into a special playlist if you are a person who has repeated UTIs or repeated prostate inflammation, that kind of an idea. So, these are things, whether you're man or woman, put these ideas in if you are having recurrent infections of any kind. So very important to make sure that you see these, because we do have that as a common problem. And then we also have some frequencies for ED. So this goes hand in hand with some of the prostate problems. Some of this happens. And of course, medically, they've got all kinds of things that they might do also, or they might suggest to you. But these are some frequencies that you could run through if you are having some trouble. Now, I don't have very many testimonies on this because men aren't reaching out to me and saying, hey, guess what? I haven't got testimonies on those. So can't give you a lot of information. But what I can tell you right here in the Kansas City area is that there is, a men's clinic that advertises all the time for ED support. And they use a system with frequencies. And that's what they say. I wish I had their exact spiel so that I could rattle it off. But they are saying that they use frequencies. So it's an all natural idea. And to come to their office and results will happen within 6 months. The cost is $6,000. I have heard that from a couple of men because they were thinking about trying the frequencies at this particular office, and they knew the cost was $6,000. But when they heard the WAVwatch was, they could get it for $497, it's like, why wouldn't I try that first? So those are some more possibilities of things that men should try very, very specifically, all related and wrapped around prostate problems. So I think I've kind of run down on this and finish what I wanted to share with you today. So I'm going to open this up and see if we can answer some questions or if anybody has anything that they'd like to share. So hope that this was some good information. Don't forget, dental is the most important thing that you need to play. And you can find that in pain. Okay, so let's see.
Linda.
Okay, so I'm giving you permission to unmute yourself, I guess is the way to say that. Okay. All right.
Linda, this is Audrey.
Yes. Go ahead. Okay, unmute one more time. Sorry about that, Audrey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Somebody asked earlier if the WAVwatch actually worked on the root cause. I had a cyst in my left breast, and I was scheduled a week later to get a ultrasound because I refused a mammogram. So anyway, I had the ultrasound a week later, but in between I went home and I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's something on my WAVwatch. Oh, there's breast cyst. It got rid of it. They couldn't explain it. It was wonderful. So yeah, it got rid of the root.
I think that is the way to say it. That's why I think the WAVwatch is very unique, is that it tries to work on the root cause, if you know the root cause. But like so many men might have prostate problems and not realize that the main root cause is dental. Okay, so that's very, very important. Okay, thanks, Audrey. I love it. And by the way, I've had 9 other women tell me that they've had breast cysts and things go away. So in about 30 minutes too. So that's very exciting. Someone
Linda,
asked a question. Okay,
Kevin
go
is
ahead.
asking about how to upgrade from the 850 frequency watch. So if you could speak to that.
Oh, perfectly. So we do have a TF card, and it's just a little card that goes in the center of the WAVwatch right here. And you just order that card for $60. And then there's directions on the website. You're just going to take your fingernail and push it in, and this little TF card will come out. I don't know if you can see that very easily. So this little TF card will come out. And then when you get your new TF card, you just insert it back into that slot. And it really takes about 15 seconds when you do it. And so as soon as you get it pushed in and turn your watch back on, it will read 1,000 frequencies. So that's a cost of $60 and a couple dollars shipping. And then someone did mention that they do the parasite and the liver and kidney detox. Yeah, and I didn't even specify detox. I mean, we could talk forever, but all of these ideas are on the WAVwatch so that they're there. You don't have to keep grabbing another supplement or going to the corner, to corner place to get some different type of over-the-counter ideas. Other questions? Let me see if I can.
So what about if somebody's had a tooth removed?
Make sure that you're playing all of the dental ideas. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking about. There are 2 to 3 miles of roots in every tooth. That's another idea that they don't tell you about. We didn't cover, all the ideas about dental. That's why I said I have a whole hour on dental ideas. So when you have 2 to 3 miles of roots and they pull that tooth, to me, it's pretty obvious they're not getting all of those roots at all. So you want to play through as many, infectious ideas as you can. You want to play through all the dental ideas and make sure that you get that covered. You also want to swish with some silver. You want to go beyond. You might find a recipe for some essential oils to swish with, and you really want to cover the basis for that, because those infections are going all through, even when they pull a tooth, they try, but 2 to 3 miles is a lot of roots to get extracted. And just
Linda,
for yes, go ahead, Jerry.
can you, I think we asked this before, as far as using the frequencies remotely, can it be done for somebody not in your area, or does that person or dog or pet have to be in your certain vicinity?
It can't be done remotely. No, I mean, the dog can be sitting on your lap and you can
I
have the
didn't think-
frequency on. Yes, this
Thank
is
you.
not a remote tool at all.
Thank you.
Yep.
Also, what's the warranty on the WAVwatch? Is there a warranty?
There's a 1-year manufacturer's warranty for manufacturer's flaws, but if you drop it and you don't have a warranty on it, I can't replace that. Or if you get it wet, and we can tell if it's wet because it's been fried in the inside,
Oh, do you have to pay?
So,
you have to pay for the warranty, or is it 1 year free?
no, the 1-year warranty, as I was explaining, comes with it for manufacturers. But if you drop it or you get it wet, that is not covered. So there is an additional warranty that you can buy for $49.99 online. You just go online and buy it. But please be fair to me. I'm a new business. And if you've had your WAVwatch for 5 months, you should buy the warranty within 1 to 2 weeks after you buy the watch. Please do it that way. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And then Martha, go ahead.
I'm looking at the booklet that came with my watch, and there's some words in here I don't know what they mean. Like for example, well, do you have a place where you define these different words? Like I know I can look at some words, but some words seem like they'd be more.
Just grab your phone and look them up on the phone. Yeah.
Okay, and then these chakras, does that get into Eastern religion stuff?
No, they're just a frequency. I've tried to kind of explain that a little bit. Chakras are, they are related to a different culture, but just like we have thyroid and it does XYZ, they have the throat chakra and it does XYZ, and they are the same frequencies. So please don't think that you're using that one frequency because it's used by a different culture is negative. It is not. Frequencies are frequencies. They were given to us by God. Maybe that's my explanation. I don't know. So just a different way in terminology.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Linda, one of the things that you taught me was about oil pulling. So that's something kind of cool to look up for dental related things, because the blood circulates through the mouth. So if you can swish sesame or coconut oil for 20 minutes, you can be pulling infection. And one of the things I researched when I had a tooth pulled was can be a root ball down in the jawbone. And so you want to be purposeful if you're having a tooth pulled, like you said, swish colloidal silver, and you don't swish too early. You don't want to break up the healing process. But the other thing is jawbone infection in the dental folder. So if you didn't know to do those things before, jawbone infection now.
There you go. Perfect. So, and just an example, I did have a lady that came in and had been doctoring for 6 months for heart palpitations. And a machine that I used said it was her wisdom tooth. And at that point in time, I did not have the WAVwatch. And so what I suggested that she do was the oil pulling that Vienna just told you about. And she swished with, I'm not sure whether it was coconut or olive oil at this time, but she swished with an oil for 3 days for about 20 minutes each day. And her heart palpitations went away. She had doctored for 6 months and taken prescriptions or whatever, and 3 days of oil pulling and it was gone. So even though it sounds simplistic, some of the smallest things can make the biggest changes. So she was sold and learned all about her dental health, connecting with her heart problems, right? All right, any other ideas?
Yeah, Linda.
Yes, Janie.
Yes. We've been dealing with prostate cancer around here since like January. And we've had everything done, and it's been diagnosed in the whole 9 yards. And he's been on hormonal medicine for about 4 months now. Anyway, at 3 months, we were supposed to go get checked for this. And his prostate PSA was 25 in May. And this was in August, I believe, when he went back, and it was 0.3. And I didn't get to go, but my son did. And I had asked if he could record the visitation that he had with the doctor, and they were letting him do that. And anyway, somewhere in the midst of the conversation, it said, boy, that really went down fast, that PSA number. Well, anyway, the WAVwatch, of course, is part of this issue, and we've been using it every day since, well, for a long time on prostate, long before that. But anyway, so what I do is I play the prostate, all of those frequencies that you have in there one night, plus lots of other things that he needs also. And on another playlist for the next night, I play all the cancer ones that you have listed, plus lots of other things also. And personally, I think that's what has really speeded him up. And I tell you, he has not slowed down his work ability or anything. This man is 89 years old, and he's out scooping wheat and loading wheat and drilling with tractors and mowing, whatever. Never stops him a bit. And he told me probably about 2 months ago, he said, I feel better than I felt 30 years ago. So I don't know what that says, but I know the WAVwatch is definitely a big issue involved in this thing, because he absolutely loves this thing. He will not go to bed without it. So that's just what I'm sharing, I guess.
I love that. And I don't know what you can see on your screen, but I could see the faces of 4 or 5 people. And when you said 89, everybody's mouths just dropped open. And we are just all so thrilled here,
It is. I mean, he looks like he's 60 years old. He does not have white hair in his head. His hair is about the color of yours.
Oh my goodness. How exciting.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Marilyn. I have trouble wearing the watch because it's gotten better, but it makes my arm burn and itch. I put it on the other arm, tried to sleep with it during the night, turned down low, and I wake up and the arm's stiff and the lymph feels really full. So I'm working on trying to get that, but I can lay it on the counter and listen to it while I'm doing things. That number one. Number two, with the experience of a positive diagnosis of both estrogen and progesterone positive breast experience of cancer, I've been running all the different programs throughout, all the different bacterias. I've been dealing with the experience of Lyme's disease for 20 years. So I have heard that
Lyme
biopsies typically show dead parts of parasites in cancer lumps or cysts. And unfortunately, a couple of years ago, I had a nurse at one of the premier Lyme's treatment companies in Utah tell me to put their oxygen on the lump. Well, it brought it out. So clearly you could see the dead pieces of parasites in it, but also the torture of having this bleeding, oozing experience. And I finally recently had an idea of using Indian black salve on the lump. It actually ate up the cancer, but now I'm still dealing with and you take it internally 20 days, 10 days on, 10 days off, 10 days on, 10 days off. But I have pictures where it actually just ate it up. and the pain was horrific.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now I'm dealing with the breast still feels very firm, so I'm running every program all the time. And I'm trying to have this open wound heal. So I've been doing wound healing. There's 2 different wound programs
Mhm.
and several others. I will go back to the oil pulling. I did it 3 weeks. I started pulling all my mercury out of my teeth. So I spent $10,000 at a certified biological dentist here in Lawrence, Kansas, and had all the teeth replaced, the fillings replaced with the white substance. But I've had no reaction from that. I will say I have I had a tooth pulled then eventually that's directly above the breast, directly below the eye, which went to 320/20. And I worked with that a couple of years ago and got it back down to 24/20 with supplements. But then once the diagnosis became more active again from the Dr. Diane Dean, I do same thing you do with her. And I have since 2000 and maybe 10.
Well, I think
So
you have done just
on
an
track.
you've got an amazing health journey. So I think you
Yes.
started with a question, and I think
Yes.
you said you were having an irritation with the watch. And maybe you are sensitive to that material on the back of the watch. I don't know if you could put a little bit of a cloth or something underneath it,
Well, there
or
was
some
something I
women.
saw on the internet that was, I think it was a silver kind of a bracelet thing that you put underneath watches and things. I didn't know if that would disrupt the frequency. So I was trying to figure
I
that
would
out.
say a soft cloth would be just a little bit better to try first,
Okay.
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 Yeah. Oh,
All right. Thanks.
your journey has been amazing, and thank you for sharing it with us. You so many things, and somebody gave you a tip that golden salve is a way to follow up for healing after black salve.
Golden salve,
Golden
and
salve.
that's something. Golden salve. You can purchase that on the internet.
Yes.
Okay, I'll look it up. Golden salve.
All right. Any other questions before we kind of wind down, or any other testimonies?
Linda, somebody asked, are there cases where it's helpful for women to run prostate frequencies?
I have no idea on that one. So do not know that one.
I have a testimony.
Perfect.
Okay, it's similar to the one that Vienna gave at the beginning, but I had a headache, a really bad headache. I felt nauseated, awful all day. I ran pain, inflammation, and trauma. I ran sinus. I thought maybe it was related to sinus of where the pain was, but it didn't help. And then I tried the headache combo, and it was gone within a few minutes. I mean, I was just so amazed at how quickly. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I know that once I had a really bad pain and headache in my neck, and I just could not even sleep. And I put the WAVwatch there on my neck and laid down, and I went to sleep, and then I woke up, the pain was gone and didn't come back. So I know it really does amazing wonders with the pain and headaches.
And if something you try at first doesn't work, just keep thinking through it. I mean, you would do that with a medication. People do if something doesn't help in their medicine cabinet, they go grab something else, So, I mean, hopefully we are learning that it's way easier to do something else on the WAVwatch than subject our bodies to another medication, even if it is over the counter. Sometimes we're finding out those are some of the worst ones. Someone says they have a bulging varicose vein. I do not know. I've not had a testimony on bulging.
I've got one.
All
I'm
right.
not sure about bulging. I didn't check this lady's legs, but a friend that had pain so much, like just irritation and pain with her varicose veins that she couldn't sleep. And first night with WAVwatch running on varicose veins, that pain left, and she's in the hospital right now and didn't feel like taking her watch to raise questions. And so I asked her when I visited her, and she said that pain has not returned, even though she can't have her watch with her right now. So that was super encouraging.
Oh, good.
And back to the black salve idea, I'd used black salve to remove a mole on my back that was under a bra strap and really, really irritated and changing and all that. I thought, before I go in for some surgery, let me just try black salve. And I don't know that I had tried particularly skin things on WAVwatch. I hadn't thought of that maybe. But when it got to that pain part, yes, the black salve ate it out and all that. And when I got down to the thing was gone, but I couldn't see it well on my back, I put black salve on one more time and thought, well, it won't hurt, just to be sure. And it was like acid on raw skin. It was so bad. And I went and roughed it out, and I ran pain of cancer. So during, and then I could sleep. That took the pain away. So just saying, if someone's has pain related to some growth or taken care of some way, that is a very, very helpful frequency.
Okay, perfect. So somebody had asked about battery health, these batteries, can you leave it plugged in too long? The suggestion is that an hour is adequate, but like most of us who have 2 watches, sometimes we leave it plugged in all night long. They say it would be a little bit better if you wouldn't leave it plugged in for 7 or 8 hours. I don't know any statistics on it. I've gone through several battery changes. And when I first started out 2.5 years ago with the watches, the batteries lasted 6 hours, and then the next battery lasted maybe 12 hours. And now I think most of the batteries are up to hopefully longer than that. But do try to, be careful with your batteries, and you don't have to wait until they're completely empty to recharge them. They do say that is a quote unquote, a little trick, is to charge your battery before it completely runs down. And then, it doesn't need the 8 hours, just an hour or so is adequate. And someone is asking, can the watch help with uninterrupted sleep? Many testimonies on sleep, but there's many ideas for sleep. There are frequencies in the emotions folder, sleep and emotions 1, 2, and 3. There are insomnia codes. There are sleep apnea codes, sleep disorder codes. So you might want to play more than one. And then don't forget, if you wake up in the middle of the night from 1 to 3, usually that's a liver problem. And you play liver frequencies and you'll go back to sleep. Or if you wake up from 3 to 5, that's a lung problem, and you play lung frequencies and you'll go back to sleep. So many different ideas to help with sleep. Okay. Robin, did you have a question?
Just wanted to share. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I got a little bug when I was in Los Angeles. So I wanted to share that I get these little herpes shingles breakout. It's always in the same area. It's in my back, my butt, or whatever. And normally it takes several days to get rid of this. I ran that herpes zoster on it and it was like gone. I got 2 different breakouts. When the first one was gone like in a day. So I did it again when the other one showed up, and that was gone in a day. I was totally blown away by that, because usually it takes a lot longer.
I hope it cut the itch down too. Was it helpful that way? Could you tell?
Yes. And that can be kind of painful too, where you just want to scrape your skin off, So yeah, no, I was really surprised.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Any other comments? We're just about ready to. Oh, someone says, okay, I'm sorry. Rick, I've been having an issue with a crown for a few months. I played dental infection and various other dental ideas for 2 days now. The pain has, see if I don't miss this here. It's skipping around on me. I think it said the pain has decreased about 70%. It's really amazing. I'm hoping to keep the tooth, and this little WAVwatch is a big part of it. Perfect. So one other thing that you might do, Rick, is go to bones, because there's a frequency there for bone regeneration. And I did have the most amazing testimony of a lady who had something done with a crown. There was something going on. And so they took the crown off. I'm not sure that I understand the whole procedure. And they told her to come back in a month, and then they would finish the work, complete the work on it. And in that month time period, she had the WAVwatch, and she ran it day and night for all these dental things. And when she went back, they told her she didn't need to have the extra work done. Now that's an honest dentist. I wish I knew that name, and they didn't do anything. So they said that her enamel had even grown back. I cannot believe that myself, but that was her testimony. So you don't know what you can do sometimes when you play some of those frequencies and you give your body a little bit of time to regenerate. Thanks, Rick. Any other ideas or anything? I'm a little bit slow reading through all these ideas. Anything I missed, Vienna?
I'd like to know the biological dentist in Lawrence, Kansas.
Who was talking about that? Anybody can they put that in the chat if anybody knows a biological dentist in Lawrence, Kansas? Was that Martha who was telling that?
Yeah, somebody mentioned it earlier.
Mm-hmm. Don't know. Okay. All right. Someone just added to.
I think you got everything. To answer your question, I think you got everything. And I think Martha was typing something for us.
Okay. All right. Can the watch fix receding gums? There's a frequency there for periodontal and gum disease. So a couple of new frequencies, and I hope that you all work with the dental. It is almost as important as parasites or the inflammation or the detox. Dental causes our whole body to be infected.
I think it's Robin that mentioned the dentist in Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Robin, was that right? No. Unless there's more than one Robin. Robin shaking her head.
Isn't me. I just did the Herxheimer thing.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on once again, and thank you. And please pass the information around if you can. I just have some of the most amazing people. I know somebody's on, and I don't know whether I'm supposed to say names or not, but somebody that came on at the very start, don't know if she's still here, but she has shared the WAVwatch with about 20 friends. And, just an amazing way to share with people. And then I have a gentleman that has done the same thing. He got the WAVwatch, and I need to get him on so he can give you his testimony, but he said to the effect that he had had back pain for 50 years, and he got the WAVwatch and his pain was gone in 25 minutes. I'm serious. And so he promptly ordered 10 watches to give away. And then yesterday he ordered 10 more. Now I'm hoping and praying that all of us will be in the situation where we can give away WAVwatches too, if that's something we're interested in and you believe in this product. So anyway, share if that's something of interest to you. Thank you. Appreciate you coming on today. Bye-bye.
Linda?
Yes. Anything else?
We just got the name of the dentist.
Oh, okay. Can you read it?
Lawrence Dental Solution, and that's from Maryland.
Okay. Anne, did you hear that? That was for Anne. Anne had asked, I believe. Lawrence
Awesome.
Dental Solution.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.